Yeah. So all of this stuff that's going on in the world right now brought back some memories. Does anybody remember the year 2000? The Hanging Chad, Florida voters. We're going to take a trip down memory lane because I think a lot of people have forgotten, and I certainly haven't. And I've got some historical proof right here in my hands. This never made it. Never made it to Florida. Never left Belgium. This is my military absentee ballot. No hanging Chad. Just returned to sender twice. 2 postmarks. The first one is right here at the top on the left. November 6th. Okay. Second one I figured must have been a mistake. December. See, in the military, we weren't just encouraged. We were told it was our duty. It was our civil duty, our right, our responsibility to vote. Every year, when election time came around, people were encouraged. People signed up. They would go around speaking to everybody, making sure that you voted while you were in the military. Didn't matter where you were stationed, if you were in the U.S. or abroad, you were told your vote matters. It counts. I'm here to tell you the sad truth. The sad truth of what happened. Because I came back from living abroad. After this particular vote, I didn't vote in the consecutive years. So I didn't vote for, I think, the next election period after 2000. Because this really put a sour note in my mouth and taste for what was going on in the world. And it showed me how corrupt our government really is. Even my mother and I had a conversation about the Postmaster General had to have been in on this. Come on, people. And when you're stationed overseas, and I was living in the middle of Tongeren, Belgium. So where I was stationed was a satellite receiver site working for NATO. We had to deliver our own mail. We hand carried, we were told. All U.S. mail was only touched by U.S. hands. That it did ride on certain airplanes with priority, and we always had these special seals, but that U.S. people, U.S. personnel were the only ones to handle U.S. mail. Now fast forward, I'm sure things have changed. And knowing that, it made no sense to me how this was still returned to me twice. Not just once, twice. Because there was plenty of time for this to make it for the election period. But it didn't. It never left Europe. Years later, during Obama's first election, I think that was 2008-9, I went into the Port Richey, Florida voting office. And I explicitly, I was told I had to re-register, first off. And I was told they couldn't do it within a 2-week period, which was really silly to me. Again, I'm an IT person with computer systems these days and all the identification that I have been told I need to prove who I am. I walked in expecting to be able to register to vote so that I could vote for that election. Because I was told that my voter registration had run out and I had to rejoin. I had to re-register, which that part I didn't realize, and I didn't know that. So I went through this process. And when I finally got up to the place where I thought I could re-register, the woman said, "Oh, you can re-register, but 2 weeks, it's not it was just over 2 weeks till the actual election date." But I was told that I couldn't vote because it wasn't enough time. I'm sorry, that right there was a flag in my head. Like big red flag. That's just one of the many. And the second thing I said, I asked her about this situation. I didn't have this with me at the time, but I said, back in 2000, I had an absentee ballot that I was sent in from Belgium that was returned to me twice. And I asked her, what's the deal with that? I don't understand. I know there was a big controversy regarding the hanging Chad. So she turned around and she says to me, and I want everyone to hear this clearly. because you might want to spread this around. Oh, we don't count those absentee ballots unless we need to. Excuse me, let me repeat that. We don't count absentee ballots unless we need to. All my life I'm told my vote counts. This should matter. To only be told in a voter's registration office in a county building, in a city, in a government building, your vote actually doesn't count unless we need to use it. What constitutes needing to use it? If you have it, wouldn't you use it? Why would you not use it? Somebody out there, can you explain this nonsensical? The system doesn't make sense. So I'm actually here to advocate for getting your ass out. Don't just hand it in to the post office because they're going to be overwhelmed. I want to see people getting their asses out there and voting. Why? Because if you leave your house to go grocery shopping and anything else that you feel the need to leave the house, then you can go and you can vote. You can do it in person. And you should. Because you need to make sure that your vote does count. You need to make sure that your vote does matter. That your vote actually gets to where it needs to go. Because with all the craziness going on in the world, I'm sorry. Lockdown much? Quarantine? With a 99% survival rate? Can we please stop acting so ignorant and blind to the masses, the propaganda that is actually shutting us all down? Literally. Your voice doesn't matter. Your vote matters. Let's really think logically here, people. I want you to understand. You matter. Your voice matters. You need to be heard. You should be heard. They work for us. Do you forget that, or do you really believe in being a follower to what they want you to believe, what they want you to accept? They want you to acquiesce, to stand down. Are you not an American? Our forefathers would be crying and screaming at us going, what the fuck are you doing sitting on your little lazy ass laurels when we fought for this fucking country? We left other countries so that we could have the right to be free, for each one of us to speak up, to be heard. Doesn't matter if nobody else wants to hear it, but you do matter. This is your time. It is your time to shine, to rise. Don't stand down. Not to fight with each other, people. I'm not here to fight with you. I'm here to stand up and rise with you. I'm here to encourage you to step into your personal power, your God-given right to not hide out in your home in shame that people are telling you it's in solidarity for other people, when in reality, I think it's being blown out of proportion so that you will live in fear, that many people who are committing suicide, there are higher suicide rates right now. What I fear more are the people who are actually in fear, that they really do believe what they're being told. That hurts me more than anything. To witness my fellow Americans fighting over who's right and who's wrong when it's not even something that makes sense to fight over. That ultimately, what is your priority? What is it in your heart that sings? What is it you want out of this life? Do you want to live in fear or live in joy and live in peace and live in harmony? Together we stand, united. Let them divide you. We will fail and we will fall, and we will fall so fucking hard. And that I will not let happen. And I know there's a whole lot more. I call us the silent majority because most aren't speaking. And there are a lot that don't dare speak. Out of fear of retribution, of retaliation, of something happening to them. Don't be afraid of your voice. Don't be afraid of yourself. Don't be afraid of the power that we the people have. Because united we do stand and we do have the power. It only takes an army, us. Our founding fathers fought for a land to be able to choose who to worship, for their families to be able to live without being under tyranny. We're not meant to be slaves, people, and this is the most enslaved I've ever seen us before. And that hurts my heart. Because I don't want to see anybody hurt. And I mean not an emotional, mental and physical level. It hurts my heart that people are fighting with each other over stupid little things when we're meant to come together. That this is about putting the unity back in community. And reminding each other that we're here for one another. It's really sad when your neighbors whine about stupid little petty things. And they forget that humans are here to take care of one another, not to be entitled and whine about something they don't like in your yard. There are people who are homeless, who don't have a home. I've got plenty of property on my land. I want to take care of other people. I want to put food in the forest, in the backyard. And if you need a place, I want to be able to help. I want to be able to help my fellow Americans, the ones who are willing to do the work and not just expect that they should be handouts. And what I mean by that is, and you all know who you are, that when you come together, everybody has a gift. Everybody has something to contribute. Maybe you have a skill and you forgot about it. Maybe you have a talent that you're afraid to share because you weren't nourished, you weren't nurtured and reminded that your gift matters. But each one of us came to this life, this world, to contribute, to make it better. Let's not go down without remembering what our founding fathers fought for us. We are such lazy. Let's just straight up say it, people. We have all become entitled to the degree that we don't even appreciate what we have. America, people come to our country to do the shit work that our own Americans that don't want to say they're entitled don't want to do. They don't want to work for menial little pennies. But other people from other countries who want more for their families, they send back their hard-earned dollars. What are you grateful for in your life? What do you appreciate? What really matters to you? Have we really forgotten? Or we just want to go back to the way things were? And most of us were already complaining they weren't so great to begin with. What really matters? What do you want the world to remember about you? What do you want to leave as your legacy? What is true for you? The last thing I want is people to see a picture of me wearing a mask, showing that I myself followed the masses, which makes me feel more like an ass. Because, it's funny, Leo King, I don't know if you follow astrology. There was something I wrote down the other day and I loved it. Because I was a master of being an ass when I was younger. Because I thought I knew it all. Didn't we all? Wisdom comes with age, with experience, with putting in the work, with getting to know yourself. Wisdom isn't just intellectual knowledge. Most of us come into awareness because we realize what wasn't working to begin with. And we want to make a change. Wisdom is saying, you know what, I know that didn't work for me so well. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to try something different. You know why? Because I want better for me and I want better for everyone in the world. It's easy to say, oh, love is what it's at. Love, it's all about love. Oh, this too shall pass. Not if you ignore it. Not if you keep walking by it and just saying, well, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. doesn't matter what community you belong to, who you identify with, if you're religious, you're spiritual, whatever. Real solidarity is coming together with one another. Is remembering that what I need in my life is human connection, is heart-to-heart engagement, is not on the phone texting. Oh, I'm sorry, I got to take this. I got to, whatever. I am so grateful for the power of social media, because years ago when I would start doing videos, it really was about, I know I can write this, and I love to write, and I love words, and I can just spew all sorts of stuff out there. But for me, this is a captive. I can engage with you. I can get everything I feel that is dropping in out in the moment instead of losing it. Because a lot of times for me, what comes in, it's fleeting, and I want it to be shared. And I want to remember that there's somebody out there who's listening. I know there is. I come from an IT background, and the beauty of the web, the wide world web, is that it connects people across the world. People you may not have ever considered or ever encountered. You may never travel in your life, but you're more connected than our ancestors ever were. But we're less connected than we've ever been. Just let that sink in for a moment. We are more connected technologically, but we are more disconnected spiritually, individually, with each other, with people in the same rooms as us. I like to think that many people are really taking advantage of this time, because this is a blessing, this is a gift. That yes, some people are alone in their homes and they don't know what to do with themselves because they're not used to being alone. And so it brings up anxiety, it brings up depression. And please, if you know people, reach out to those people, because we all need someone to tell us, we matter, we care, I love you, please reach out. I'm usually one of the first people to say, when I need someone, I will reach out, but also remember that I'm here too. I'm here to listen for my friends and the people close to me. Because we all have moments. We all have a moment where we go, wow, I feel alone right now. But you're not. Be courageous and willing enough to speak up for you and everyone else who may not have a voice. But start going into your community, saying hi to your neighbors, getting to know people around you more than ever now, because this can all be turned off at the flip of a switch. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? That moment when it happens, people will flip out, freak out. Oh my gosh, I don't have the internet. Keep looking at their phones. Oh my gosh, I don't have this, I don't have that. What will matter at that moment to you most will show you where you've been prioritizing your life all this time. And you might want to start testing yourself on this now. You should have been testing it during all this time, because all of the little itchy stuff within us has been rising to the surface. All the triggers, all the charges, all the things we don't want to confront within ourselves, we're seeing it in other people. We're really being shaken to the core, because that's the work we need to do. And if you haven't been willing enough to sit with it and confront it, or maybe you have been more attacking toward other people because you don't want to look at the stuff that's really going on inside. This has been the great awakening to you. Not just one another, but to you. The gift in all of this is the realization that, wow, where are you at? Are you able to be with you? Do you like you? What in you is it that you feel you need to work on, to change, to soften, to accept, to embrace? Because that which you dismiss makes you that much more amiss. The more you deny, the more you're actually creating that chaos, the resistance within yourself. You're creating all the cancer, the stuff that eats us from the inside out, people. Cancer is a dis-ease that starts on a mental level, usually at a young age, when we don't feel we're enough because we weren't taught that we are. We weren't parented well. Some of our parents did the best they could. And so we learned coping mechanisms, survival tactics, skills to get our needs met. And we grew into these adults, and we're still wounded children walking around in adult bodies. All this stuff that's coming up is meant for us to heal now, because if you're unwilling to do the work, you're going to continue to wound, because hurt people hurt people. Healed people are willing to show up to help others heal. The more of us that are willing to do our own healing work, and it ain't pretty, I'm telling you, you got to get in the mud. You got to get in the dirt. Because the more you're willing to accept all of your stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you call it, label it, nobody can hold anything against you that you don't already hold against yourself. Nobody can attack you and hurt you unless you're already doing it to yourself. We want to talk about solidarity and love and compassion for other people. Start with yourself first. Let's heal this world by starting first at home, because everything starts with you first. And whenever you point fingers out at other people, you got 3 back at you. So that's a triple whammy. We are here. We are in this together. I don't give a shit what you're dealing with. We are all working on something. We all got to deal with something. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you stop dismissing and denying, rejecting any part of yourself, and you start reclaiming that about yourself, you're going to be that much stronger. Because the more parts of yourself that you reclaim, the whole comes together. You want to be accepted as you are, start with accepting yourself. Don't expect others to accept you as you are and be all arrogant, because your arrogance cannot replace confidence. Arrogance is what tries to tear away at people. True innate power doesn't come at you with brute force. Power is strong. It is confident. It knows. It knows no bounds because it is fearless and boundless. That's what we as Americans, patriots, true human beings, and those of you across the world who aren't even Americans going through this, I see you too. Because we are all connected. And everybody's fighting some inner demon. But let me tell you, even your inner demon needs your love, needs your affection, needs your attention. When you're denying even your darkest pain, you are denying yourself to shine even brighter. The more you can dig deep and you can use your pain as your strength, the stronger you're going to be when you step into that true innate power and confidence that is really just stirring around in you, because we all got that. We all have that. That is all in you. And I want to inspire and encourage that in each and every one of you. I'm passionate about this because I know what it took for me to get here today in my life. It's not going to be all sparkles and glam, beauty and brilliance. And seriously, it's a lot of painstaking, blood-curdling, crying, tears, screaming, moaning, literal physical pain. It's a birth, it's a death, it's a transformation, like you are being ripped from the inside out. Each and every one of us deserves to go through whatever we have to go through, and it can be with whatever force and pain that you choose. The more you are willing to step into your own fire and breathe into whatever it is, give yourself the gift of life. In every breath, you get to be rebirthed. You don't need to suffer for your greatness. That's one of the old conditionings, belief systems that we had from our forefathers, the people who started this country. Verbiage could have been a hell of a lot better. But I think they did a damn good job when they started out with the Constitution. at least giving us some basic principles and some rights that apparently they must have known. Smart people, they were foreseeing the potential because they had come from other countries that had already held them in tyranny, held them as enslaved into a system of poverty. Why do you think everybody wants to come to the United States for a new start? Why aren't we doing it for ourselves? I see so many people jaded by what their experience has been, and I've had my own. You know, even if you're a woman, a minority, you know, all the races. I really want to come to a point where we can all agree that not one of us is any more or any less. I really want to come to that point. But every single person has something they have to heal within them. And that needs to be honored first by the individual who is healing them, who is going through that, who has experienced whatever traumas. And that nobody is trying to say, well, you're not, you know, your stuff's no better than mine. Like, don't be arrogant. Don't be condescending, because we're all going through something. Don't try to uplift by putting down. Just be willing to hold space and be held. Have the vulnerability, the authenticity, the courage to show up and be seen, even if it hurts, even if it sucks. It's not always easy for people to be looking at you when you're the one who didn't want to be seen because you weren't seen. It feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. That's why addiction, that's why abusive relationships, most of us don't know healthy, because we've only lived in unhealthy. And so it's familiar, we lean more toward what's familiar. We only gravitate toward what we know. But when we take those courageous steps into the unknown, yeah, there's the fear that comes up because we don't know it. But every time you make the effort, you take the step, you go beyond what you know, you're giving yourself permission for a new life and a new start each time. Bravery, people. I know each and every one of you has it. And there's so much I can share. There's so much more I want to like remind you about your greatness, to let you know that you're not alone, that I want you to know that if I say something, it's not just for myself, it's for us all. That I want you to be able to make choices that matter. Not frivolous, not cheesy stuff that's to go along and get along. I'm over that. I want you to breathe fresh air. I want you to step outside in nature and not feel like you have to suffocate yourself over stupid stuff. Oh my gosh, seriously. Seriously, people? This life, we need to be back in joy and out of this painful crap that many have chosen to step into. If you want ease and grace, so shall it be given, but you have to choose it just as much as you want to be chosen. I want you to remember, we're not meant to be absent. We are not meant to have a piece of paper and other people stand for our choices. We are the people. We do decide. Our vote does matter. Show up in person. Be willing to show up in person. Get out of your house. You can do it to shop. You can do it to do whatever else you've been doing. You do matter. I love you, even if I don't know you. You know why? Because I clearly came here to be a human and have this human experience with you. And I want it to be the best damn experience you've ever had in your life. And I want you to be reminded that you came here to live in joy, to live a life where your gifts are appreciated, that you get to contribute, you get to decide, that we don't have to force one another to agree to also live in peace and harmony. This country was founded on equality and inequality at the same time, on the ability to see each other as equal in a way where I can respect your opinion and you can respect mine. That your choices, as long as you do no harm to me, I do no harm to you, that it's really about solidarity, is really about supporting one another. If I can grow something in my backyard and you can grow something in yours, and we can go back to taking care of this earth and reminding one another that we're here to create and not destroy, how difficult we've made it. Consider, look around. The only drama we're playing out is the drama we're unwilling to let go of, just old ways and old habits and old dogmas that we've been attached, indoctrinated into, conditioned. Do you really believe half the stuff you were told when you were a child? Because I'll tell you, I know for myself, as a little girl, there's a lot more I remember that I believe now, that I would say, you know, that little girl in me, she had it all together. She already knew. And then the world got a hold of her and she started listening to other people. And she forgot the true inner voice that knew a whole lot more. I love you all. I do. I want you to thrive. This isn't about surviving. It's time to thrive, people. Let them shake in their knees. I'm sick of seeing the corrupt people sit in offices for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, seriously, when I hear someone say, well, they're not a politician, thank the fucking God they're not. I'm sick of watching people with spewing hate and all this pain and all this toxic poison that's within them. You don't realize if you are that hateful toward anybody, be it Trump, be it Biden, be it Obama, whoever it is, yeah, there's a lot of evil fucking people out there. And they're showing the true colors out there because they're acting like immature. I'm sorry, they should not be in those positions of power. You see where the disconnect lies in here? Telling the American people that you're racist. I'd say look at the three fingers pointing back at whoever's pointing that shit out. Because that's the shit that pisses me off about this country right now. That we, the people, are going to let politicians with millions of dollars in their pockets and corporations keeping them all cushy in their big mansions and all their many homes across the world and their bunkers when they want to go hide. And all their creepy, really arrogant fetishes and stuff that goes on behind the scene. I'm sorry, I'm done with seeing that shit play out. That is not the type of person that represents me. Anybody else see the disparity here? See the disconnect? Do you really want those types of people representing you? Because that says a lot about you if you think that is true. If you believe that a person who spent 40 years telling you what you should do, yes, let me tell you what you should do because I don't have your life. I can tell you all of what you should do and you should listen to me because I got millions of dollars. I'm really reputable because I have money. You see the disconnect, people? When the love for money and power is so great, that's what rules you, we have a big problem, people. When Hollywood casts its spells and tells you a vision, and you're willing to listen to it all. Start paying attention to symbolism. Look around you. Look it up. It might not apply. You might not get it because it doesn't affect you. But all those fancy little symbols, the pizza stuff, all that crazy nonsense, you think, oh, it's all made up. Look it up. And then you'll start noticing it's everywhere mocking us. It's everywhere mocking us. The satanic occult stuff. You know what a cult means? A cult means hidden secrets. It's all coming to light, people, because you can't hide really nasty truths. They always come out. They always come out. Because the light, when it's shining, and there's a whole lot more awakened people in this earth, then they want you to believe. You are powerful. I want you to understand how powerful you are. You're so powerful. Each and every one of us is contributing to all this mass hysteria. We have created this. This is a reflection of us. Me too. I own this shit. Because each and every one of us has let it get this far. Let it sink in. Let it make you mad. Let it make you so fucking mad, you're willing to do the work on yourself and say, screw this shit. I don't want to be associated with that shit. That's not me. If you disown it, if you can own it, then you can disown it. But you can't disown it until you own it. So you want to know the true empowerment, the true choice, the stepping into your power? Recognize all of this shit that's going on in the world is contributed because you and me have let it happen. We have allowed it. We have empowered it. How are we going to fix it, people? Let's talk solutions. That's the problem right now, is everybody's talking about the problem and not the solution. Because each and every one of us is the solution. And I'm going to tell you the first part of the solution is when you own it, then you can disown it. So each and every one of us needs to own that we have contributed. We have to step into our personal power and say, holy fuck, I'm so damn good. I let it get this far. Here's the mass awakening. Now that we can all come together and agree upon this, now we can agree to disempower it, to disenable it. Ooh, baby. If you believe in this, then stand up, spread the message, and remind people the way to stand together, to unite, to step into our power as a collective, as a people, we need to own it. And then we get to disown it. All right, who's in with me on this one? This isn't a trick. It isn't a trick. Might feel scary at first, but we have the power, people. You just got to be willing to step into it. Because like in the post I put earlier, each of us has a choice. Are you going to be a leader, a follower? Are you going to be a supporter? Are you going to let yourself fall by the wayside? This is the part where you get to choose your role. And if you don't already know what it is, it can feel scary as fuck. You know why? Because you haven't been here before. If it's scary to you, it's because you haven't been here. If you don't know what your role is, it's because you haven't been asked to step into a powerful position where you have to make a choice that isn't just about you. Because this is about us all. The choice you make isn't just about you. That in itself is scary as fuck when you've never had to do it. For those of us who have served in the military, each and every one of us, and you fucking know, that when we signed on that dotted line, when we took the oath, most of us were so pissed off to find out later that the oath we took wasn't even for what we thought we were standing for. And this is where I'm asking each and every one of you to learn that when you take an oath, when you stand up and you rise for one another, it is not for the wrong reasons. In this time, you're doing it for us. Us, united, together, we stand. We, the people. I see you. And I want to see more of you. I want to see more of you. I feel strong in my heart, in my soul, my calling. And I will continue to lead through example as best as I can. And it takes a village. It takes putting the unity back in community. And knowing that we are here for one another and not just for ourselves. But you got to start with yourself. Be willing to choose how you are serving. How can you best serve? How can you best serve? Because the pledge you're about to take isn't the pledge that most of us thought we came here to pledge. I know when I was born, something big was coming. I knew. And in some ways I get really excited, but this is only just the beginning. And for it to get better, it may have to get bad, may have to get really bad. But if you start making your community more important and you start focusing on one another, you start unifying, supporting one another, the smaller the groups, the people you know who you can trust and turn to, the more you're going to change the world, because we have to start in small doses. We have to do it. I'm not talking about rallying and protesting necessarily, because not everybody is meant to protest. Like I said, everybody's got a role, and not each role is going to look the same. Only you know for you. You got to tap into your heart. You got to know what's true for you. This is my way to get to the people. This is just one way that I can serve. I serve through supporting people and holding space. I can say that. People who know me, they know it. They felt it. I don't take it lightly, because I know the power. I know the power of listening, deeply listening, of seeing, truly seeing, of hearing beyond what is being said, looking beyond in a way that is felt, trusting, truly trusting within the heart and soul, and aligning with your personal integrity. This is the deep work we all signed up for. If you're still here, you're here for that same reason. I don't take this lightly. In fact, I'm pretty damn serious. But it's time to have some fun. And I mean it. You need to start choosing ways to put fun back in what people are seeing as a battle, as a fight. I do have a trigger around the word warrior, and here's why. Because when you use the word warrior, it implies fight. And yes, there is a battle going on. There is. I'm not denying that. I'm not going to try to play light about the fact there is evil. There is evil. And there is good. But we have to also be willing to embrace the evil within us, the dark of ourselves, in order to create the balance, the unity, the harmony that we're here to create in this world. The evil wants us to love it just as much. It sounds crazy. It's very beyond where we're at in this moment. I'm just going to touch upon it. But until we can truly come together as one, even with the stuff we don't want to face, we don't want to admit is a part of us, has been a part of us. Many of us have suffered, have had sexual traumas at young ages, have been in sexual trafficking, prostituted out. Whatever's happened to you, know that it wasn't in vain, that you are going to be one of the people that helps the victims of those situations, those crimes. Because you've been there, you know how to support it. Because everything we've been through in our lives is part of the gift we're here to deliver. So I see us as guardians, beautiful guardians. Many of us aren't here to necessarily battle. We're here to guard and take care of one another. And when you can step into the true role of being a guardian, you don't have to battle. People will see you. I'll see you. And I honor each and every one of you in whatever role it is you choose or have come here to deliver and be a part of. Because it's gonna be one hell of a ride. So strap in. It's not gonna change anytime soon until you're willing to do the work within. It's just the beginning. I can't tell you, but I will ride with you. Ride or die, baby. Ride or die. Ride or die. So there's a lot of information to share with you, and if you have any ideas, you have any solutions, you have anything to offer, if you're in Clearwater, Florida, Tampa area, you want to get together and start building community with me, I need work, I need help. I need a lot of help. My hot water heater died the other day. I should say leak, very leak. Funny thing was, I was looking for this. This started it. I noticed a pool around my hot water heater had just started, so my hot water heater just broke, apparently. Has a leak. Yeah. One more thing to add to the things that need to be done around the house. But it's okay, because I believe in the universe providing. And that's what I really am grateful for, is I know, I trust, because I know in my heart, the right people always show up when you're willing to allow them to. And when you need to show up to someone, you're willing to show up. It's a lot to sit with. Be willing to sit with whatever comes up and honor it. And if you need support, I'm here to do it with you. We can breathe together. Whatever you need, reach out. We'll work together. So much love to my brothers, my sisters, my gods, my goddesses, my kings and my queens. However you want to be identified. No, I love you, I see you, I'm here to hear you and hold you. So much love, so much love.